Well, if you're looking for a movie that you can just watch over and over and over again and just not get bored, I think I found it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well today, and you guys have seen the Mario movie. I've seen the Mario movie. Let's just cut to the chase. This movie was amazing. From the very first frame, this movie opens with just the most epic cinematic way that I think a movie from Illumination could possibly open with. Bowser's airship comes through with his opening airship theme from all the Mario games, and you've got the Koopas storming the Penguin Castle, and you've got Kamek going, "Behold, the king of the Koopas," and then after that, Bowser just steps out and just wrecks their castle. From the very start of this movie, I had chills, and my favorite Mario game of all time is Super Mario Galaxy. And in that game, I truly felt like Bowser was a threat. It really felt like Bowser was going to destroy the universe and basically rule the world. And that's exactly how it set up Bowser from the very get-go. Is he's here, he means business, he attacks and melts an entire castle with his fire and steals the Power Star. And also, speaking of Super Mario Galaxy, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when he's walking up the steps to claim the Power Star, you can hear a little rendition of his final boss theme from Super Mario Galaxy. When I heard that, I got chills. Just from start to finish, it was amazing. So that's how the movie opens, and that kind of leads me to the next thing about the overall story of the movie. Now, most people have said that there's not much story there, and I kind of agree. It's kind of similar to that of a Mario game, except the roles are kind of reversed. In the Mario games, Peach gets kidnapped. In the movie, Luigi gets kidnapped, and now Mario has to save his brother, Peach has to save her kingdom, the two of them are on an adventure together. It's basically the plot of a Mario game, just in a movie. And for this movie, I think it really works. I think the pacing of it is very well done. I mean, like I said, from the moment the movie opens, it just goes. It's like a Mario roller coaster, in my opinion. Now, I will say one of the things that kind of surprised me was just how long we stay in Brooklyn. After that big epic opening, we then transition to Mario and Luigi and what their lives are like, and they're living in Brooklyn trying to start up a plumbing business, and it's not going all so great. But we spent a good bit of time there, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting is we got to see Mario's family and just what their lives are like. So we spend a great amount of time there, learning about who they are before they get into the Mushroom Kingdom. So I thought overall the setup and them being in Brooklyn and how they get to the Mushroom Kingdom was really well done, really well paced. You got to see a lot of what their lives are like. Now let's move on to the things I really want to talk about, and that is the Easter eggs. Oh my goodness, there are so many Easter eggs, musical Easter eggs, callbacks to other games, and this is where I have to start getting into the point where it's critics versus Nintendo fans, because clearly the critics did not play Nintendo. Because if they did play Nintendo, they would have understood that that was Pauline in the news broadcast saying that they need help and they've got it under control. They also would have understood that Kid Icarus was the game that Mario was playing in his bedroom when he was looking all sad, and then critics would have also understood that was King Bob-omb and King Boo at Bowser's Castle at the wedding. The critics just clearly didn't get all that because clearly the critics did not play Nintendo, and that is the next thing I have to stress. If you're not a Nintendo fan, you probably didn't like this movie. If you grew up playing Nintendo, if you have a friend that plays Nintendo, if you watched anything Nintendo related, if you had a best friend who showed you how to play Mario, if you played Mario in any sort of fashion, like Mario Kart or anything like that, I'm sure you're going to like this movie in some way, shape, or form. Now, if you grew up with Nintendo, like from a little child all the way till now, as you're like an adult, you are probably going to really like this movie. You're going to get the Easter eggs, you're going to get the callbacks, you're going to see all that. And that truly is who this movie is made for. It is made with the intention to satisfy Nintendo fans. Why? Because Nintendo was clearly at the helm of this. Miyamoto would not take his hand off of this for a second. You can see his hands all throughout the frames of this film. From the callbacks to the Easter eggs to the music, all of it. He had his hand on this project 100% from start to finish, and I could not be more happy about it. Like I said, I thought the movie was very well paced, I thought it was very well done, and from start to finish, I really felt like this movie was a love letter to the Mario franchise and to Nintendo as a whole. So when it comes to my favorite moments in the Mario movie, first off, I have to say we've already talked about the opening with Bowser's airship coming in and his castle and him just obliterating the Penguin Castle and stealing the Power Star. That was really epic. But the next thing I really wanted to touch on was just the training that Mario goes through before he and Peach and Toad embark on their adventure. Mario's learning how to use power-ups. Mario's learning how to basically take on the obstacles that he's going to be faced with. You see that, and you see this training montage, and he's learning how to use the power-ups, and it really feels like what the players go through whenever they're playing a Mario game for the first time. You go through that first level in World 1, you're going to fail a few times. But as you play the level more and more, you get better, and you get better, and you get better, and before you know it, you're taking on Bowser at World 8. The next big thing I wanted to talk about, though, was Mario vs. Donkey Kong. That felt like Super Smash Bros. On screen. A Smash Bros. Movie would be amazing. Please don't overwhelm Sakurai, though. Please, let the man rest. Getting to see Mario and Donkey Kong just go at it, though, was just absolutely just thrilling to watch. It was really cool. And then this also goes back to kind of the Easter eggs, because there's a point when the crowd's cheering and they're like, you know, DK, DK, and then Cranky Kong is just like, stop talking, and then it just cuts to Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong cheering for Donkey Kong, and I'm like, oh, it's Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong. All these really cool callbacks is just really amazing, and I loved it. I loved Nintendo for it, and just for the fact that they just really cared. They put their 110% effort into this film, and I loved every second of it. It was just thrilling to watch. Now, probably my favorite sequence in this whole movie, like, I enjoyed the final battle between Bowser and Mario and their whole shenanigans that they got into at the very end of the movie, but my favorite sequence in this movie was by far the Mario Kart segment, where they're getting on Rainbow Road and they're trying to ambush Bowser, and that whole fight between the Donkey Kong army and Bowser's army, amazing. And the blue shell is a character. The blue shell is a character, it is a Koopa, it is the leader of Bowser's army. There's a point whenever they think they've won, they've destroyed that Koopa, and then he comes out and he's like, you can't defeat me. And then he just comes in and absolutely obliterates them. And if you played a Mario Kart game, you know exactly what happens. He turns into a blue shell, if you're in first place, you get absolutely smacked. And that's exactly what happens in the movie. Mario and Donkey Kong get smacked and basically get eaten by one of the eels from Super Mario 64. Again, more Easter eggs, more callbacks, which of course the critics are just not gonna get. If you didn't play Nintendo, you're not gonna get it. Now, throughout this movie, I will say there were some really unexpected moments. Like, for one, we get to see how Princess Peach sort of became the leader of the Mushroom Kingdom. There's a point where she's like, I really don't know where I come from. I just remember arriving. And then you see her coming into the Mushroom Kingdom, and the Toads take her in, and you see them training her, and then eventually she becomes the princess. Like, you get a little bit of backstory on her, but not a whole lot, which is fair. But another part that just really got to me was you get to see why Mario and Luigi are so close, how Mario has always stuck up for his brother Luigi. That flashback where Luigi's kind of getting bullied as a little kid, and then baby Mario comes in, he's like, you're not gonna mess with my brother, and you could just tell. And so it was really sweet to see. It's just really emotional and really cool. Now, before I get into the cast and how their performances did, I gotta talk about one character in particular, and that is Luma Lee.
There's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
That depressive Luma in Bowser's Castle in the prison. I'm serious, you guys. I could not stop laughing this whole time, and neither could my sister. Me and her both went to see this movie, and we had a great time, but she could not stop laughing. I could not stop laughing. This Luma seriously just has one goal in this movie, to just die. Because apparently this Luma's been stuck in prison forever inside Bowser's cage, inside Bowser's castle for so long that this Luma just wants to just die. And it's hilarious because there's a point in the movie right at the very end where Bowser's about to basically lower all of his prisoners into this lava below, and they're all panicking, and the Luma's like, hey! And then Donkey Kong saves them, and then the Luma's just like, the Luma just made me laugh so much, and I just really hope that that's a tease that maybe we're gonna get Rosalina in a Mario movie 2, please. But depressive Lumas aside, let's get into how the cast did. So first off, what did I think of Chris Pratt as Mario? It was fine. There were times when I even forgot that it was him. He didn't oversell it, and he didn't undersell it either. He was right there in the middle, which in my opinion was right where he needed to be. He let Mario, the character, shine on screen, and he had his voice just amplify that. And I really thought that was a really well route to go for his voice and for his character. So I really thought that Chris Pratt did a really good job. And speaking of Mario, yes, the original Mario voice actor, Charles Martinet, is in this movie. He actually plays Mario's dad, and he also has a quick little cameo as Jumpman, the original Mario. And so you do get to hear Charles Martinet do the original Mario voice in the movie. It's really cool how they incorporated him. So again, this is all just plays into the genius of how Nintendo made this movie from start to finish, and Shigeru Miyamoto's just magical Mario touch. But moving on to Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. Love Peach in this movie. When it comes to Movie Peach versus Game Peach, I kind of like Movie Peach a whole lot more, because in Game Peach, all you hear is Mario! In this movie, she's leading her kingdom. She's trying to defend her kingdom. She's the one clearly in charge. And honestly, it makes a whole lot of sense. Mario's never been to the Mushroom Kingdom. This is the tale of how he basically becomes Super Mario. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I wish we would have seen a little bit more of him. That's my only gripe with him, is that he was just kind of there as a side character, which I guess makes sense. I mean, he's there, and he's there for kind of that comedic energy and relief, you know. But Keegan-Michael Key did a really good job as Toad. I really wish we just would have seen more of him. Jack Black as Bowser. Oh boy. Jack Black absolutely nailed it. The one thing I will say, this goes back into some of the funniest parts of the movie. Bowser sings. Jack Black sings. He sings about his love for Peach, and I'm not gonna lie, I was dying. I was laughing so hard whenever I saw this. It was just amazing to watch on screen. It was just hilarious. And so Bowser has his threatening moments where he really does seem like a threatening force to be reckoned with, and then he has his comedic moments where he's just pining for Peach, and it's just hilarious. But overall, I thought Jack Black did a really good job. I thought the entire cast did an amazing job. I've seen some people give a little flack to Seth Rogen, and I forget the actor's name who plays Cranky Kong. Seth Rogen, who plays Donkey Kong, did a great job. When it comes to Donkey Kong, I thought he nailed how Donkey Kong would possibly act. The vibes I was getting off of Donkey Kong in the trailers is exactly how I expected him to be in the movie, and voila, that's exactly what we got. And overall, I just really had an amazing time watching this movie. And again, like I said in the very beginning of this video, this is a movie you will want to see again and again and again and again. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you will appreciate this a whole lot more. Because if you go and look at the critics' reviews, clearly the critics did not play Nintendo. They did not get the Easter eggs. They did not get the musical cameos and just the characters and the callbacks. This movie is a love letter to the Mario series and to Mario and Nintendo fans. Clearly, that's what this movie was made for. And if you're a Mario and Nintendo fan, you're going to have a great time with this movie. And this movie is on track to make $1 billion. And for Nintendo, I guarantee you they're just all like... But yeah, the music, the characters, the Easter eggs, the callbacks, everything, all of it bundled together is perfect reason for me to give this film a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed this movie. I can't wait to see this movie again and again and again and find more references and Easter eggs that I possibly missed my first time through. But anyways, I want to know what you all think now. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, please sure to subscribe and share with all your Nintendo friends, and let me know what you thought of the Super Mario Bros. Movie in the comments below. If you want to see me and my sister's trip to see the film, click this video right here, and be sure to subscribe, like I said, and like the video and share with all your Nintendo friends. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care.